doing a blueberry pudding. We're gonna flavour our blueberries with gin. So, first I wanna make my batter for the pudding component, so the top of the pudding, the cake mix basically. I need some butter. Need 80 grams of butter. I need 1 cup of sugar, of which I'm gonna leave about 1.5 tablespoons, 2 tablespoons out to mix through my blueberries. And I'm just gonna beat that until my sugar and my butter have come together to form, it's like a buttercream. Once I've got that buttercream formed, it'll take about anywhere from 5 to 10 minutes, depending on how soft your butter is. Once I've got that formed, I'm gonna add a little bit of flour, about 1/4 cup of flour, and then I'm gonna add my buttermilk, which I've got about 125 mils of buttermilk, and make my sort of the wet component of my batter, and then I'll add my flour to that. While that's mixing, I'll get my dry components ready. They'll be cinnamon, 1 teaspoon, allspice, 1 teaspoon, baking powder, 1 teaspoon, and then about 2 cups of self-raising flour into a bowl. That's our dry ingredients done. So my butter and sugar combined, I'm going to add an egg and do this one at a time. So add that and whisk it in. So this is starting to come together. It's starting to become nice and light and fluffy. I'm going to keep it going. So I'll give this another couple of minutes, and then we'll add a little bit of flour and our buttermilk. So you can see how we've got a wet mixture there, but it's not so wet that it's sloshing around in that bowl. So that flour, about 1/2 cup I ended up using, has helped stop that happening. All right, now I want to fold the rest in. So I need another 1.5 cups, because I've already put 1/2 cup in. This is a 1/2 cup measure, so I'm going to need 3, 2, a little bit more. And then that remaining bit of flour in there, I'm going to keep to put with my blueberries as well, so that we don't end up with a stew at the bottom of our cake. We end up with a sauce. So I'll fold all this together now, gently. We want this to be nice and light and fluffy. We don't want to overwork the flour. We don't want to knock out any bubbles that we do have in there already. My blueberries in. I want them to line the bottom about 1 inch, 2.5 centimetres up. So you're going to need a good amount of blueberries. It is a blueberry pudding after all. So that is about the amount of blueberries that you want. You want a good amount of blueberries, probably 1/3 of your tin, your baking tin. And in with that, I'm going to put a little bit of sugar. About 1 tablespoon. Some vanilla. About 1 teaspoon of vanilla. Some gin, about 1 shot. Depending on how much you like gin, you could do 2 shots if you wanted to. It's about 60 mils. Give that a mix. And then as these blueberries cook, they'll break down. And as they break down, they'll make water, or they'll let their juices out. And we don't want this to be all sort of mushy and wet at the bottom. We want there still to be blueberries intact, but also there to be a nice sauce. So I'm going to add a little bit of that leftover flour. Not much. About 1 tablespoon. Mix that through. And that flour will mix with those juices as they break down. And that will create a sauce that our blueberries will sit in. Alrighty. As that warms up, as that flour warms up, mixes with that sauce, it'll thicken, and we'll end up. So this just needs to go on top of that. If you wanted to, you could pull some of those blueberries out and put them into the batter itself. So you've got a few little blueberries. Actually, it's a good idea. I'm gonna do that. Just gonna fold a few of these blueberries, not many, a couple of spoons full, into our actual batter. So we've still got a decent amount at the bottom, but we're also gonna have some blueberries mixed through our batter itself. Okay, so the batter goes on top. If we've done things right, this will rise a little bit. So leave yourself just about 1 centimetre at the top of your baking tray or of your pie tin or whatever it is that you're popping into. And that is our pudding made. You sprinkle some brown sugar on there. You could crush up some nuts and put that on top of there if you wanted to. I'm just gonna go plain. Into an oven, 180 degrees for about 35 minutes. Remember, the batter is quite thin, so it's not going to take that long to cook. It won't take the normal time that a cake would take to cook, so 45, 50 minutes. It'll take about 35. But same thing as you would normally do with a cake. Put a skewer in. If there's no batter on the skewer when it comes out, it's cooked. When you want to serve this, just grab a big spoonful of the cake itself, the blueberries into a bowl with a little bit of cream and ice cream. It's beautiful. Once you break into that cake and see those blueberries and that smell comes out with the gin, the vanilla and the blueberry flavour, you'll understand why you go through all that painstaking, it's not really painstaking, just add those little extra steps when mixing those blueberries with the flour, the sugar, the vanilla and the gin. It adds another layer to it.